again, we can't see much. That's what we're hearing from the FBI office.
Where are you now, Eliana?
Guys, we're still on that southbound 405. We just crossed over the Marina freeway. We're getting very close to LAX, so my pilot Alex was actually just giving me the heads up that in about 4 to 5 minutes we may lose sight of the vehicle as we pass over the LAX runways. We, of course, will try to stay with this as long as we can, but again, continuing southbound on the 405. And I mentioned you guys talking about the driver. We have got to take a look at her. We do believe now that it is, in fact, a female driver. And there are times like right now where she uses her hand to try to shield her face. Apparently she knows we're up here. She does not want to end up on TV, but it's a little too late for that. You can see her again trying to cover up her face, but of course News Chopper 4 has a great camera up here, and we can continue to watch her even if she continues to try to cover up her face.
She almost looks like she's waving at you there, Ileana. That's what it
or waving
like.
you off.
Yeah, she's probably trying to either wave or wave us off, one of the two. But, I mean, she's not going to, I mean, we technically don't matter at all in this situation, of course. Really, who she needs to be concerned about is the CHP, who are still pursuing her here on the southbound 405. She's sticking to that carpool lane now, which, of course, is going to move a little bit faster here just north of LAX. Again, we're going to come to that crucial point here where we may lose this, but we'll try to stick with this as long as we can. Again, here on the 405 freeway, we're currently over the Centinela Avenue exit, and as far as I know, it's just that female driver who is wanted for some type of altercation here at the Federal Building in West LA.
Hey, before we lose you, can you give us an idea of what's ahead of you there? The freeway conditions?
Yeah, let's go ahead and widen out the shot here so that we can see, because of course near LAX you always see that freeway start to slow down. Looks like we got through the heavier part of the slowing here, and she does have an open freeway ahead here for as long as I can see. But I mean, definitely lucky in that perspective, and we're starting to see her move over to the right, which is not something that we have seen. We've seen her just stick to the carpool lane, stick to the emergency lane as well, but now we're seeing her riding those middle lanes. Now that the freeway is starting to open up for her as she passes the Florence Avenue exit, we can see that she's now taking that center lane here on the 405 South.
And this really is amazing considering it's a Friday afternoon. We never, ever see the 405 freeway, especially around LAX, look like this. A bit more information. You know, we said they were federal police. We looked at the cars that were pursuing her. It said HomeLand Security there. What we do know from the FBI contact that we've been talking to there or emailing, that it's the Federal Protective Service. Now, I'm not sure what their jurisdiction is, but this happened at the Federal Building on Wilshire, which is in the heart of Westwood there. So we're trying to get more information on that as we continue to watch this pursuit headed south on the 405.
Eliana, still clear ahead of her, and
this is amazing. Wouldn't you say?
It truly is. So we take a look at this, and inching closer to LAX.
Yeah, still a clear road ahead of her, for her, as we approach LAX. So you're going to start to see our shot get a lot more distant now. What we're going to do is take News Chopper 4 over the runways of LAX, which is going to place the 405 freeway off to our left or off to our east. So we're going to try to do our best here to maintain the shot. There's going to be some buildings that are going to come in the way, so that will definitely make it a little bit more difficult for us. But as soon as we can rejoin this pursuit, which is going to be near the 105 freeway, we'll have a much better shot.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to continue to monitor your picture right there. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Fritz Coleman right now. And if you lose sight of the vehicle for just a moment or two, we totally understand, but you will catch up just as soon as you get on the other side of the freeway. Fritz.
There's been a lot of what sounds like hyperbole about this storm. For instance,
okay, sounds good. I'm not sure, because there will be some buildings that are going to come in the way, and they will block it for a time. Once we get to the 105, though, we'll be good. It's going to be at least another 3 to 5 miles. Or in terms of minutes, I'd say maybe about 3 more minutes. Okay. on the 405 now, going west. I'm sorry, 105. 105 going west. Yeah, Colleen, she just got on that 105 west. So this is the highway that's going to take you over towards LAX. Yeah, so you guys are right. Yeah, that's why we're seeing all of this traffic here, because she is in the portion that's going to come to an end here. Again, the 105 will come to an end, become as you come under, or rather, as you are south of the runways at LAX, and you can see that she does not want to be in that backup, so she's trying to move over to the left, trying to get past these slower moving vehicles that are simply just trying to get into the LAX area. So she was on the 405 south. That's when we had to cut away here for just a moment. And then now she's on that 105 west. It's unclear if she knew that the 105 was going to come to an end here, or if it was simply just a bad move on her part. But we're going to see what she decides to do here. Hopefully she stays away from LAX itself, but she's continuing here in that left-hand lane, trying again to get past some of these slower moving vehicles here on that 105 west.
In case you're not familiar, the direction she's headed is toward the ocean, and she will be there in a little over a mile. That's about all she's got, and then the freeway is going to end, and that'll put her right down on the beach.
And you have to figure that the CHP pursuing her right now have to be contemplating whether or not to do a pit maneuver. Obviously, she's in a smaller car. They're in a larger SUV. She's in a small Kia here. And, you know, the issue for them is safety. So they're sort of taking in all the conditions, looking around, measuring the traffic, and deciding what to do next. And, you know, it's hard to tell from our picture, but Ileana, they're following her with lights and sirens on, or at least lights from what you can tell?
Yeah, as far as I can tell, I did see some lights. It's a little difficult to see just because of the glare.
Well, now she's getting off the freeway, and this is over in the terminal on the other side of the main terminal over there, where a lot of the charter flights go in, I believe.
What's that exit?
Yeah, she's on the roundabout here. This is going to be right where the 105 comes to an end at Imperial. So I think this is going to place her to go eastbound on Imperial Highway, of course, which is a highway that runs usually just adjacent to the 105 freeway, just on the north side of it.
Struck around 10 o'clock last night, about 70 miles off the coast of Chiapas.
So we'll
but it was felt
try to get
as
ahead
far
of her
away as
here to see her
Mexico
when she
City,
pops out. And sure enough, here she goes, continuing eastbound here on Imperial Highway.
I'm going to assume that was a red light she ran there at that intersection, because the cars were stopped on the other side. She just keeps going down there. Imperial, she can go a long way now, quite a ways on Imperial, not going to have to worry about.
And we understand she has been waving at the choppers overhead, obviously the police chopper and the news choppers as well following her. You know, we think of it now being rush hour traffic, 5 o'clock here on a Friday night. These streets, though, these surface streets seem to be open. We should try to get a better perspective as to where she is right now. But this is an interesting one, Dennis. Federal Protection Services.
Yes, well, they are
so she's not opposed to traveling on surface streets
federal facilities, federal buildings, federal officials, and they're a law enforcement agency under the federal umbrella. They work along with the FBI. So that federal building, which houses the FBI, a lot of federal agencies are in that particular facility, 11,000 Wilshire. So whatever she did prompted an investigation to begin, and subsequent to that, she fled, got in the car, and took off southbound 405. It was interesting. Earlier, the 405 was clear. She really didn't encounter much traffic, if any, and on the 105 she didn't. And now, as you see, she's traveling on the streets without a lot of traffic around. But I don't know if they're going to do a pit maneuver or some other maneuver to bring that to a conclusion. Now she'll get in the left turn lane and probably go straight and just continue on this path, fleeing. Whatever she did she have some type of issue with the federal authorities? Did she have some type of a weapon when she went in the structure? All types of things are possible. We don't know exactly what it is, but we know the Federal Bureau of Investigation is involved in this. All types of things are possible. We don't know exactly what it is. The Federal Protective Services, we know the uniformed officers at the Federal Bureau of Investigation is involved in other agencies that are there. And this is going to now involve LAPD, because now she's on the surface streets.
traffic there on westbound Imperial. What we saw her do earlier was she made a U-turn right before she got to Sepulveda because she did not like being in that traffic, and so that's how she ended up westbound again on Imperial Highway. But we see her here trying to just get away from some of that slower moving airport traffic that she encountered on Imperial Highway.
What we do know about the driver is that the person behind the wheel is a woman. We've actually seen her close up, and we're getting confirmation on that from the FBI. So we don't know if there are additional people in the car, but to the best of our knowledge, there is one person, right, Ileana?
Yeah, that's correct. We've only been able to see the female driver, and as far as we know, the confrontation that took place at the federal building earlier today only involved a singular female. So it'll be interesting to see if, in fact, there is anybody else in the vehicle. But as far as we know, she is the only one inside.
This person seems to like the airport as she's now turned back in the direction of the, there you see the light rail overhead. Street? She's going back toward the airport again.
Yeah, she's right under the, right under the tracks here, and I believe she's going to be just through Maple, and let's see, she just came out the other side. Let's see if she's going to continue there. Oh yeah, continuing. Yeah, so she just went through Maple, and I'm trying to get a better cross here for you. This isn't too busy of a street here near the LAX area. Let's see, what street is it? Yeah, she just went through Maple, and we're kind of like between the.
Well, the picture just froze for a second, but we'll get right back to it as this pursuit continues, and now the picture's up again. So she's come to an intersection, but she didn't go through the intersection. Instead, she has turned into another business area.
Into the Raytheon building.
Yeah, the Raytheon.
This is something you see if you're on the 405 all the time, if you're headed in and out of the airport area. 405, 105.
Now back out again.
Yep. Now back out, yep.
And that's the 105 freeway that she's running parallel to?
Correct, but back over where we saw her get off on that 105 freeway, but again on surface streets because she doesn't like being in traffic, so she always, another turn there behind the building there, inconveniently for us here in News Chopper 4, but we see her coming out yet again. This time I believe she's going to be heading south here, continuing at very moderate speeds.
Yeah, I'm just going to remark, once again, you don't see the high speeds that we usually see in a pursuit there.
Is this the El Segundo area? Still?
Yeah, this is going to be El Segundo just because it is south of LAX. So El Segundo would be our best locator at this point, again, on surface streets. And as you can see, other traffic is stopping just to take a look at what is going on. Of course, a lot of these people are simply just trying to catch a flight at LAX. And now they have this pursuit running by them as they make their way here on Douglas. And you can see that the CHP is starting to pick up speed here behind her. So some of these streets can be very wide.
If we can stop you for just a second, we're getting more information from the FBI here. Apparently, this happened outside the federal building in the parking lot there. And this again from the FBI. Sounds as if an employee at the building reported that vehicle had been driving recklessly around the parking lot. That's in the back of the building there. It's a very large parking lot if you've ever been there. That was reported to federal police, and that's what started this pursuit. So it would appear that it happened outside the building, not necessarily inside the federal building on Wilshire in Westwood.
And now she is boxed in once again at another intersection, and the Highway Patrol just keeping a distance, preferring, of course, to have the driver just pull over. But that's not going to happen as they circle around again. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to come underneath us here for just a moment, so we'll try to keep the shot. But this is actually a great opportunity for me to try to look inside and see if she has a passenger sitting in that front seat. But as far as I can tell, I can still only see that female driver as she makes her way here under the tracks, coming up to yet another intersection, blowing a red and making an interesting turn there, for lack of a better description.
A wide U-turn. And maybe it's a circle. No, not quite.
It almost makes you wonder what the motive is on this. If she was driving recklessly around a parking lot, caught someone's attention, and it started there.
Oh, here we go.
Look at this, going right over the medial strip on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, please turn around. This could be very dangerous. A busy street here in the LAX area. Other cars fortunately see her. They're stopping. And she's making her way around those vehicles. But I hope she gets back on the right side of the road. This could be very bad.
And the CHP is still behind her going in the opposite direction as well. Now she swings back over.
Yeah, Back now, I think she's back on Douglas, which is the street that she was on here just a moment ago. Douglas is a north-south street that is west of the 405 freeway. It runs parallel with the 405 freeway. It's actually a great alternate to Aviation Boulevard, which is just going to be one street to the east. Continuing here, moderate speeds, but despite the slow speeds, we have seen her make some erratic moves.
Like that last one, going the wrong way in the oncoming traffic.
I would suspect this ratcheted this chase up just a little bit when that happened. I mean, she's pretty much been a conservative driver, following the speed limit. She hasn't clipped any cars, a little reckless, but that move right there, deliberately coming across the median, going down the wrong side, put it into a whole different category.
The other thing it signals is that she does not want to be stopped. You know, it shows no sign that we're near the end of the pursuit, desperate now to get away. Before, maybe not as desperate, but now we understand she is. We can only speculate what may have happened over at the Federal Building, driving erratically in the parking lot. Perhaps she got some bad news inside the Federal Building or something like that that upset her. And then the federal agents took out after, and then, of course, the CHP would come in and handle the pursuit, which is what they're doing now. As we're getting more into a, not quite a residential area, still a business kind of area there. Is that right, Ileana?
Ileana, can you call out the street for us, please?
Yeah, still on Douglas here, but she may be making a turn here onto Rosecrans. Yeah, making a left here onto Rosecrans. Let me widen out the shot so we can get a better idea of what type of area this is. As you can see, there's a lot of bigger commercial buildings here, not too much of what I would describe as a residential building where you're going to have a lot of homes and people just walking in their neighborhood.
Again,
definitely
on the wrong
just
side
a
of the road
residential
there.
area.
She was coming down the turn lane on the wrong side of the road. She's just crossed back over.
Yeah, we've seen her do a couple of those moves where she gets on the wrong side of the road simply to bypass some of that slower moving traffic, which is exactly what she did right there. And now she's making yet another turn. This is going to be a right-hand turn. And I'm trying to get the cross here for you here. We may get a pit maneuver here. I'm listening on the scanner, and I understand that the CHP has been authorized to pit. So in this type of case, this may be a great opportunity to do it. It's a nice wide street. Her speeds have to be, of course, under 35 miles an hour. So she may be around that area right now, perhaps a little faster. So we'll see if she gets to that sweet spot, and hopefully the CHP, if she doesn't stop on her own, hopefully the CHP can help her do that with a pit maneuver.
A smaller, lighter vehicle, perhaps it would be easier to pull off a pit maneuver than if she's driving a larger vehicle. Yep,
squeezing by those cars there.
Yeah.
Making yet another turn. She was just on Aviation. Now she's heading, she made a right-hand turn, so she's going to be heading back towards the airport yet again. I'll try to get you the street here. It is going to be a smaller street, possibly Marine Avenue.
Now, because she's on surface streets, is she still being tracked exclusively by the CHP at this point, or have El Segundo police moved in as well?
Let me widen out the shot and we'll take a look. This particular cruiser here, I don't recognize that as CHP. It does look like it is, in fact, as you said, Colleen, El Segundo PD has joined this pursuit because we are in the El Segundo area. They're going to be best equipped to handle the pursuit on their streets. They are the ones that are going to know if a street does in fact end in a cul-de-sac, let's say, or if there's an alley adjacent to the street where the suspect may try to run. So when we have pursuits enter a new city, enter a new jurisdiction, you will typically have the police agencies from those cities join the pursuit, but of course the lead agency will typically stay with it.
Are we getting closer to Torrance, Carson, if she's headed in that direction?
She's actually going to be heading to Manhattan Beach if she continues in this
Manhattan
direction.
Beach.
Yeah, so she's in El Segundo, continuing westbound, making her way over towards Manhattan Beach. Very close to the ocean for those of you who are not too familiar with the area. We can see that CHP, though, getting very close.
Like.
Yeah,
yep.
Looks like you're going to try it right here.
Again, he'll just backed off for some reason, maybe the intersection and...
there you go, yeah.
Ahead. Yeah, there were cars up ahead.
And making another turn. Sometimes turns are a great place to do a pit maneuver, but right here would also be an ideal situation, a nice wide 4-lane street with no cars anywhere that we can see here from our vantage point. So this may be the perfect opportunity to pit maneuver. We can see that the CHP is starting to try to get close to the rear portion of that vehicle, the driver's side. So we'll see if CHP is in fact successful in attempting a pit maneuver here in the El Segundo area.
Now she appears to be going, what, 30, maybe 40 miles an hour here?
Oh, here we go. Oh, the wrong side of the road yet again.
The medial strip again.
Making that U-turn here and coming back out in the direction that we just came. So right when it seemed like CHP was maybe going to try to do a pit maneuver and that this was maybe going to try to come to an end, of course she tried to get a step ahead of them, made that U-turn, and now we're continuing back southbound. I'm going to try. Oh,
there she goes again.
Yet another U-turn. What we've learned about her is she doesn't like traffic and she likes U-turns.
And does not want to be stopped.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. There's the pit. We're going to try to get around this street here in just a moment. You can see that the CHP is getting out of their vehicles to try to apprehend this suspect, but she's not done yet. You can see her reversing there with that CHP officer right at her driver's side window. We're moving a News Chopper 4 around here. We'll try to get you the shot here in just a moment as we complete our orbit here. We can see that there are officers right at her window. I can see her hand there on the coming out of that driver's side window. We have not heard a code 4 yet, of course. We can see that they are now opening up that window. And bear with the shot here for just a moment as we complete our turn. We can see that they're talking to her.
Yeah, you can look at their body language here, especially the officer who stepped inside the door. He seems to have a more relaxed stance, and the other officers have backed off. I'm trying to see if anybody still has a gun drawn or they've holstered their guns.
I don't see any guns drawn there at all. The 4 officers.
Yeah, no, definitely more relaxed for sure. We typically don't see officers do that, run right up to the driver's side window. But perhaps they had some information about this suspect that we did not know up here in News Chopper 4. And perhaps that's why they felt comfortable going right up to that driver's side window and approaching this suspect.
She's got a bunch of papers with her as well. She's got some files in her arms that she did. She wants those files, whatever they are, so she brought them out with her. We've got a female officer there who's going to pat her down.
Once again, if you're just joining us, we believe this started at the federal building on Wilshire in Westwood. According to the FBI, we've been talking to or communicating with email there. This driver had been driving recklessly in the parking lot.
You know what? She's pointing at her files to the helicopters above. Yeah. As she raised her hand, then she'll point right down to those files. You know, perhaps there was something that went on in the federal building this afternoon that really upset this woman. Yeah, well,
she won't be pointing at her files anymore. She's being cuffed right now. But an employee called in the information to the federal police inside the building in Westwood. And they initially started the pursuit here and then turned it over to the FBI as they got closer on the 405 to the airport there.
Yeah, she really wants those files.
And you can see her there wearing high heels. So she did this pursuit in high heels, making some of those erratic turns. It's really crazy to think that we just witnessed all of this from this driver here. And finally, this is coming to an end here. Again, we never made it into Manhattan Beach. This is still going to be in the El Segundo area. I'm going to give you some of the nearest major streets so you just know where this all came to an end.